Ms. Landsman, you have written a number of books and articles. Could you share some of them and the inspiration for writing them with the African American Registry?
Yes. The first book I published was called Basic Needs, A Year with Street Kids in the City School, and I'd always loved to write and began to take classes and then keep notebooks. And I worked with a man named Terrence Dupre, who was an amazing teacher. He died very young. But he worked with me and said, after he'd read a number of my writings on different things, I think you really want to write about the kids you teach. So after that book came out, in, I think it was 92, I began to keep notes about all sorts of things. And pretty soon what hit me was that I really wanted to write about the fact I was teaching in an alternative school for kids who had been kicked out of their schools. And most of those kids were black. And they were just as bright as the school I had been teaching at the year before, which was a school for gifted kids in the arts. And they were white. And so I wanted to find out why these gifted black kids were in one school for losers, supposedly, and the other were in this great school for people who would go on to do wonderful things. So I began to keep notes for that book and published that book in 2001. And since then, I've and writing articles, because what happens when you publish a book, you don't make money on books, but you get asked to do things. And so I began to develop my own individual consultancy, and just train myself in how to have discussions around race, and especially in education. And so my last book, the new book to come out, was called Growing Up White, and it really takes my life from the very earliest years all the way up to now in my 60s and reflects on what it meant to have a white upbringing when I went into the schools and when I went into the world, and how maybe we can change things so that this is not such an advantage.